So that's really what we're dealing with, and I want to take this idea and move forward to what I was going to say earlier about this idea of knowledge and how we collect knowledge and how we believe knowledge, also known as epistemology, which really just means how you know what you know, the way you know what you know. Well, our epistemology has changed. Prior, our epistemology would be a mixture of scripture, right, God's natural law, with the scientific method, right? And just
Days, I got to interrupt you. Someone just said my ego went through the roof. Well, let me rebolster my ego. That word you just said, I have no idea what that means. Say that again.
Epistemology. It's really just, to keep it simple, it's how you know what you know. It's basically where do you get your knowledge from?
I got you.
Right. So our epistemology, the way we would know what we know in the modern age, was usually a mixture of God's law, natural law, scripture, mixed with the scientific method. That's how we would come to truths. Usually the scripture or the Bible or God's law would be our moral foundation to make decisions, but our ability to know what is true would usually be done through the scientific method. We would use the scientific method to know what is and what isn't, and we would use the God's law or scripture, God's moral Christian ethic, to know what should be done and what should not be done. That's how you have a stable society. When you have those two areas, you have the what can be and what cannot be based on testing through the scientific method, and also we have the should and should not, so we can know what to actually do with our technology. See, we've gotten rid of God, so now we just know what I can do and what I can't do. And so when we find out what we can do, we just run with it, because we have no what psychology would call superego, or what Christian would call, we have no moral grounding to tell us what's right and what's wrong. So what we've turned into is this system, this culture, this society or nation of a scientistic. And when I say scientistic, I'm basing that on scientism, meaning we do everything through science only, and nothing can tell us anything outside of what science tells us. But the problem is we're not really using science anymore. Now our science is politically based. And what I mean by that is we're now doing what the stakeholders want us to do. We're now doing what the think tanks want us to pursue. We're doing what the NGOs want us to pursue. That's what Agenda 21 is all about. It's all about a specific scientific faction of, I'd call them psychopaths, that are making the decisions for humanity. Now, this idea of knowledge, what we've discovered is, what is everything being laid out by? Is it being laid out by the scientific method, observation, experimentation, replication? No, it's being laid out through models. This is the point I said all of that to get to this idea of models. Everything is being done through models. Models are just projections. They're potentialities. They're not truths. Isn't it interesting that this entire COVID thing has been based on models that have always, and I'd say consistently, been wrong? But we continue to believe them, and we continue to trust them. Why? Because they have the white coats, because they're the experts. And this is the interesting part. If they can provide us the room for potential, the room for doubt, we don't have to know the truth. Just that little bit of room of doubt, we'll keep trusting their models. We'll keep trusting them. I'm saying all this to get to this point. The future is about models, Richie. The future is about this technocratic version of reality, which is based on the machine. What are algorithms? Algorithms are different forms of models. Everything is going to work through models and algorithmic technology moving forward. We are just beginning the stages of this, and this is the way they are conditioning society, conditioning all the people here to prepare themselves and get used to working through models, living by models, being governed by models, no longer dealing with truth, no longer really engaging with the scientific method, and of course, completely absent of moral ethics and moral codes that would have been rooted in the Christian worldview. They get rid of Christianity, get rid of the morals, get rid of the ethics, even get rid of the scientific method. That's why we're seeing the Enlightenment era being pushed out of the door in academia right now. But just focus on our models. Let's just focus on our AI, our artificial intelligence, our machine learning, which it's not intelligent at all. It's just machine learning. We're going to let these machine learning capabilities guide you. Just trust us. That's what this is. It's about models. And that's the disturbing part. None of this is based in reality, man. All of this is based in some potential future with a question mark on it. And we're putting our lives in the hands of that system.
Somebody just brought up the fact that scientists, I